Greetings from the shed. This is Diecast Johnny, and today, flip the camera around, have a little subject to talk about. Gotta move my keys and my stuff here. Been out cutting the old grass. Yeah. My title of this is Silly Kids, Hot Wheels are for adults. It kind of takes me back to, what do you call it? That old cereal, Tricks Are for Kids. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly how that went, but this is the title of this because nowadays, kids don't really seem to play with toys in general, I think. I don't think they seem to play with a whole lot. It seems like computers and cell phones and video games and stuff has taken over. Now, of course, there is a certain age group, I guess you do buy monster trucks for, Hot Wheels and stuff like that for. Probably like a certain age. You can't get them too young to like 1 or 2 because they'll put it in their mouth. I'm saying like 3 to 5 or 6, and then after that, it's all over. Now, these are just my personal opinions. Whew, gotta let the dome breathe a little bit, but I like my hat there. It keeps the sun off of my head. But these are just my personal opinions that working at Walmart, I don't see too many kids past probably 5 or 6 looking at Hot Wheels at Diecast area, because the Diecast area is kind of small in my store, but it seems to be dead with kids. If I ever see anybody in the department, it's usually adults. And if you do have new younger kids, you see we have some grandbabies that have a lot of cars and stuff. We bought them and stuff. They got a big tub and they throw all the cars in the tub and stuff, and they're just, I didn't do that when I was a kid. I really didn't. And I think in my era, I grew up in the 80s, I played with cars a lot longer because, hey, we didn't have cell phones. Well, they had computers, but you had to be rich to have one at that time when they first came out. I can remember playing cars up to when I was 9, 10 years old probably. And we used to put them in things like this, cases. Yes, these cases are here. And I took very good care of my cars. I don't know if it was just me and OCD, but I've already shown these before. I love these things. I remember having 2 and maybe a smaller one. But I actually had this one by Matchbox back in the day. I've since rebought it online, but don't have the original. And it probably was a little tore up or beat up. This one's in pretty good shape. Let me set that there like that if you can see it. Well, the glare is in the way. But, yeah, that glare on that's kind of hard to see. But, we used to keep, me and a buddy of mine that I grew up with, my best friend, he had his cases and I had my cases. And the very first time we ever met, this is a little sidetrack story, but the very first time we ever met, he had a Matchbox car playing with it. I had a car with me and we was playing, and they called him in later in the evening to go eat dinner and go wash up for school and everything. And he said, hey, same place tomorrow, bring your car and I'll bring my car. Fast forward to now, I'm 48 years old, and I remember trading cars with him and buying new cars. And you know, I might not have had a whole lot. Like I said, I might have had 2 cases full. Usually cases hold about 48. And then a little small case. Maybe I had about 50. His brother had one. He had some really nice ones because he was about 5 years older than us. So he actually had some red lines, I remember, because I've seen some since then. And I remember them cars, him having. Crazy how your head works like that. A lot of people couldn't remember stuff like that, but I can. I remember a lot of stuff from my childhood, especially toys and stuff like that. But you don't see that nowadays. You just see kids. I think mostly, you know, they're still cheap. You know, back then they was probably 65, 75 cents, something like that when I was a kid. You don't pay attention to, you know, toys and stuff like that back then. You don't pay attention to how much it is and stuff because you're not buying it. But my collection was, I think, pretty good shape, and we used to do some trading and stuff. And And then there was some times where we remember beating a car with a hammer and all that stuff to make it look like it got wrecked or whatever. But you didn't do that to your real nice, real good cars. You know what I mean? But you don't see that, at least I don't see that with kids nowadays. I might be a little wrong, but I see kids in stores that are scrolling through the phones a lot. And like I said, I probably played with my cars up to I was 10, 11 years old. I don't know whatever happened to them. I wish I would have kept them all these years, but that's something you can't go back and fix. But if I did, I would have kept every toy I had. And my God, I'd have been a hoarder by now. But and some people think I am anyway. I just call myself a organized collector. But most, you know, besides the Hot Wheels, I think they're $1.18 now. Matchbox is too, somewhere around there. You have like the premiums and stuff, and like Johnny Lightning and stuff like that. I don't see too many kids going through the toy aisle and mom and dad buying a 4 or 5 year old a $6 or $7 car. They're like, hey, pick this one out. It's $1.18. It's a lot cheaper. So it's more pointed to adults and adult collectors, you know, and because of the prices and stuff, they're definitely going to be getting the main lines. They're not going to be getting all these. I could be wrong. There could be some people out there that give a damn and want to get their kids a nice car or whatever, but they know half the time they're just going to tear it up. And for example, we bought one of the grandbabies a monster truck when we was in Indiana one year, and it probably lasted 2 hours, and then the next thing you know, the axle was broken, the wheel fell off and everything else, and I was like, holy hell. And I remember their dad said, his name's Cody, he said, see, that's why I don't buy them damn things. You tear them up too fast. And I was like, my God, kids are rough on toys now. The boys are. Maybe the girls are too. I don't know. It just ain't like it used to be. A lot of stuff's not like it used to be, especially from back in the 80s when I was a kid growing up. But, you know, it seems to me, like I said, it's pointed to more adults now than kids. Usually past 4 or 5, because you can get away with getting cheap toys up to a certain point when you're a parent. I remember that day years ago too, when my two were real little and stuff. So you can get away with it for a little while. Next thing you know, they discover video games and computer stuff, and well, mainly just cell phones. I believe more than anything nowadays. They, you know, they're getting on there and they're on their cell phones and they're playing their video games and stuff. So they're not wanting to collect cars. Most aren't. This is just my opinion. There might be some kids out there 7, 8 years old that really get into collecting, and but from my experience of what I mostly see, and especially at a die-cast shop that I go to, I don't think I've ever seen one kid in there younger than probably 19 years old that are buying toys and stuff, or their parents are not going in there because they're figuring it's probably too expensive, when some of it might be, some of the higher end cars and stuff, and even the main lines. I mean, the main lines at my shop are about $3. Just a little, look, they got to make some money, so it's a little bit higher. But it's usually stuff that you can't find at my Walmart or anywhere else nearby. So, but they're not going to be buying them anyway. They're thinking, well, you can go to Walmart and buy them for $1.18. Ralph has a store. The guy that owns that shop, he also has a setup in my local flea market, and he's had people tell him that, or you can go to Walmart and get them for 88 cents. And he told me one time that he's like, apparently they ain't been to Walmart in a while, because they're not 88 cents no more. They're $1.18. So yeah, what do you think about it? I mean, do you think they're mainly for adult collectors nowadays, especially the premiums and all that stuff, and definitely the RLCs and stuff like that? You definitely, you know, that's definitely pointed to collectors, and they make protector cases and stuff like that. I don't remember anything like that when I was a kid. You just ripped the damn car open. I don't remember anybody having a car in a case and holding it up and saying, I'm putting this on my wall, you know. So people can do a little bit of everything like that nowadays with toys and stuff. I do a little bit of both. Keep stuff on card, and I open up stuff too. So, but just give me your opinion, what you think on this subject about kids buying cars, or mom and dad buying cars for kids past probably 4 or 5 years old. They can get away with it for a little while, like I said, but sooner or later they got to go for the big toys. And most of the kids are going for the big toys. And even around here, I mean, there's kids wanting four-wheelers and stuff. You know, I've seen some for 9, 10, 11 years old, you know, wanting four-wheelers and stuff like that. They're not interested in little bitty die-cast cars anymore, at least from what I see. So give me your opinion. Give me a comment in the comment section below, and let me know what you think. Is Silly Kids Hot Wheels or for adults? Or maybe a little bit of everybody. I don't know. This is Diecast Johnny reminding you to keep on collecting.